Hi, I'm Suzanne, the Digital Optimist. Today, I would like to talk about solo female travel for entrepreneurs who work remotely. Oh God, I guess I should have prepared a little bit. I have traveled to, last time I checked, about 46 countries, and I've picked up some tips along the way. The first tip I would like to share is about timing. So when I used to look into digital nomad life, I always thought, oh, it's so amazing. Like you just go, you're traveling, you work. And then I actually did van life for about 9 months in 2021. And I realized that you cannot be traveling all the time and also run your business. It is impossible to do those two things at the same time. So if you're trying to think about going from one place to another, you kind of need to pay attention. So unless you're on a really long train ride or bus ride somewhere, then, I mean, you're gonna have to worry about connections and timing and timetables and like, where is the bus station? Where is the train station? You're probably gonna meet people. You might want a coffee. Like there's just so many things happening that you can't get any work done or not in any meaningful way. So what I learned is, top tip number one, to spend at least 3 nights in one place. This is the sweet spot. For me, for my business, this is the sweet spot. So if you're traveling, you're going to want to experience the area that you're in. So you don't just want to arrive, go find a coffee shop or the co-working space, get your work done and leave without seeing any of the place. For me, anyway, I'm turning into a bit of a slow traveler. Like I really like to immerse myself. And so 3 days for me is like the absolute bare minimum. It's not long enough, but it's the bare minimum. So I would spend 3 nights somewhere, walk around, explore the city, find out where the coffee shops are, maybe do some work on day one, because in doing so, you meet people and then they give you advice and maybe they will take you somewhere or tell you about their friend. Like so many things can happen if you leave the space for them to happen. And that can really only happen if you are there for long enough. So I like to leave at least 3 nights, 2 full days. So it doesn't even sound like very much, and it's not. So if you have longer, then I would spend longer. I know I said the sweet spot is 3 days or 3 nights, but I do believe that I would like to start spending a few weeks in a place as opposed to a few days, so that you can almost fully immerse yourself in the culture of the area. So that's what I'm aiming towards now. I'm moving from staying somewhere from a few days until staying there for a couple of weeks. Tip number 2. Is that how you do 2? Or is it? Tip number 2. I'm on the fence as to whether or not to call this a tip, but I will share with you how I plan trips, how I structure them. I like to have what is called a skeleton. So maybe this is tip number 2. Plan the skeleton, but don't fill in the gaps. I have a rough idea of how long I have to travel. I have a rough idea of the regions of where I want to go, usually based on weather, how busy they are, what time of year it is directly related to the weather, and also how busy they are, you know, on season, off season, shoulder season, stuff like that. So I have a rough idea of that. So maybe I'll plan to spend my minimum of 3 nights in a location. Then whatever happens, happens. Maybe I even leave some gaps in there. This depends a little bit on where the location is. If it's peak season in a highly desirous location, then you might have to plan depending on your style of travel. I'm a bit of a mid-range traveler, so I'm not staying in hostels with 12-bed dorms because I like to sleep. And I feel like people that stay in dorms are mostly younger and they mostly drink, so it's loud and I don't want that. But I'm not staying at the Fairmont everywhere I go. Recently, I joined a program called Home Exchange. If you want to travel and you have a home that you are happy for people to come and stay in, you can do swaps. But the reason I say that, related to tip number 2, is that maybe it's free. Maybe you have a point credit with Home Exchange and you actually don't have to pay cash for the place that you're staying, which I've done several times and it's amazing. That is tip number 2. Plan the skeleton. You can have some places to stay, but it's dependent on the time of year and how popular the location is that you're going. I have a long list of places that I want to go, generally related to how beautiful the places are. I will always care about beauty and landscapes and scenery, and I care less about culture. And I'm sorry for all of the people that love history and culture, and I care about those things, but they're not the top priority. I'm going to be looking for the hikes, the viewpoints. I'm looking at the weather to see what the clouds are doing, when is sunset. I always have those things in mind, and I think that's always going to be the case. I deeply care about what our world looks like, and just experiencing all the different landscapes and weather. You can't avoid the people and the culture when you focus that way. Like, it's not like I have no idea about the history of a place or what the culture is, but when I plan my trips, I focus strategically on location. How I do that is I search photography trip Finland, for example, and then I'll get results. And then I will look at, say, the top 5 results. I will look at the itineraries of where people went, and then I will decide what places I most want to go, and then I plan my trip around that. And in many cases, you want to be at a certain place for sunset or sunrise, or a certain time of year where it's better than other times of year. So there's a lot of variables involved in that, and I would be happy to go into more detail about which trip or a specific itinerary that I've planned in the past. So maybe let me know in the comments if that's something that you want to hear more about. Always happy to share about traveling. Are we on 3? Are we on 4? How to stay safe while traveling. I do travel with expensive equipment. I mean, I think a lot of us do. If you have a laptop and a camera, there's your expensive equipment, or a phone even for that matter. I think it's a good idea to pay attention. I mean, this is very common sense, but things do still happen. Like, I hear a lot about people getting pickpocketed in, downtown Venice, for example. I have not been to Venice, but I would probably have a heightened alert anytime that you're in a busy area, train station, central, where there's a lot of people around and there's a lot of distractions. I think that is prime territory for thieves. I will say that I'm not really a nightclub person, and I don't drink. I'm not likely to be in a situation late at night when I'm drunk in a dark alley. That is just not a situation that I would find myself in. I think if you are a drinker, you would want to maybe not drink alone, drink with somebody trusted, go out with somebody trusted. But I think now that I'm in my late 40s, it's just not something that interests me anymore. I like going for walks at nighttime, but I would never put my headphones in and not pay attention to the world. So that's probably a tip. Sometimes I have my headphones in, but I'm not listening to anything. I'm always keeping an eye. Like, when somebody walks past me, I look at them. I look at them in the eye. I make sure that I get a good look of them, not to be weirdly hypervigilant, but just to stay aware of my surroundings. And as far as equipment goes, with my backpack, if I'm traveling, I often carry it on the front of me instead of on the back, so somebody, isn't able to just unzip something without me paying attention or noticing. That's probably a tip to stay safe while traveling, is always be aware. Don't listen to music. Like, don't zone out unless you are 100% safe. Keep an eye on your passport, and your wallet, and your electronics. Tip number 5. I don't know if we're doing top 5 tips. Maybe these are my top 5 tips for traveling as a lifestyle entrepreneur who's productive. My 5th tip is about balance. This is something that I am not an expert in. I would easily just work. In many cases, if I'm traveling with someone, then it's very good incentive for me to step away from the computer, see the city, go do something. So sometimes I need that extra pull to take me away from the computer, but not always. Recently, I went to Cinque Terre. This past summer, I went hiking in the Alps with a friend, and then went to Italy by myself. And I stayed my 3 nights in Cinque Terre, and I stayed 4 nights in the Dolomites, which is definitely also not enough, but it's better than nothing. And I did get out, because you have to, because you're in the Dolomites. You literally have to leave the room. And you know what else helped? crappy internet. They did not have very good Wi-Fi at where I was staying in the Dolomites. The Wi-Fi itself was fine, but I was on too high of a floor, so I was too far away from the hub, and so I had to stream, like I had to hotspot, but then there wasn't that much reception there either. So the Wi-Fi situation was not ideal. I mean, ironically, I did more hiking because of that. Like, if it's annoying to get work done, you're probably just gonna give up. So, and that's probably like bonus tip number 6 is if you have clients and you're traveling, because I kind of tried to get away with not telling my clients that I was on vacation, but I've now realized that I don't think that's a good idea, because then you have less of a grace period. So setting expectations, I think, could be bonus tip number 6. Letting people know that you might be a little bit slower to respond to things, giving yourself realistic deadlines for stuff. Like if you think something's going to take 3 days, give yourself 6. You know, just expand the window of time so that you have that cushion in case you have any digital technical issues come up. So for now, those are my top tips for working remotely as an entrepreneur on the road and staying productive while seeing the world. I'm going to be sharing more lifestyle, entrepreneur, adventurous tips. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to follow along in the journey, drop me a note in the comments, ask questions. I love engagement. I love talking about all of this stuff. So let me know. Let me know if you aspire to travel remotely or if you already do. I look forward to hearing from you. Stay optimistic, and I will see you in the next video. I think that's good. Whew, it's like a workout.